Hi, I'm Nicholas McGurr, author of The Afterlife and host for Stories in a Cemetery. You can find all my fiction works with themes of the afterlife on nicholasmcgurr.com. That's NICHOLASMCGIRR.com. As a writer, I do research, and that research is more than likely inside a haunted location or a cemetery. Like you, I'm curious about the afterlife, and always looking for a new topic for my next book. I hope you enjoy this episode of my research as much as I did in using it for my fiction works. Let's get into today's story in the cemetery. Hello everyone, and Happy New Year! Welcome to episode 19. This week we're discussing Byron Preiss' Secret of Charleston, again with an interview with Brian McFarland, my treasure hunting pal and tour guide partner. You'll be able to see and hear this episode on buymeacoffee.com and is available exclusively to patrons of the show. To become a patron, you just need to drop $1 in the coffee pot. No sign up or giving up any of your information. Either click the link in the show notes or visit www.buymeacoffee.com/Nicholas McGurr. That's buymeacoffee.com/NICHOLASMCGIRR. Don't forget to leave me comments and or some reviews on CastBox, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and on my podcast host, Anchor. Wherever you're listening from, I'd like to hear from you, and your rating helps others find the show. Here's a sneak peek at the exclusive interview with Brian McFarland. Interesting. I didn't even see the trees reference until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, and I think the gold squiggle kind of, like, I was like, well, it's trace, and I was like, oh wait, what if we purpleize the other E? So,
well, what I was, again, this was my mind, like, looking for things, clues to Charleston. I actually seen, like, the word Cheston in there. Like, I was, obviously I didn't finish it off with an N, but that's kind of the theory of what I was seeing in there.
What do you, as in the name Cheston, or what do you?
Cheston, like, I thought maybe it could have been, because I seen, like, a CH with that first bottom purple squiggle not being a full C, but, like, Charleston, Cheston, that whole Bela Geechee language that we have here could have been mispronounced.
I think it's important that if I wasn't, look at me getting all excited. All right, so calm down, Brian. It's just $1,000,
right?
We could actually go work at McDonald's for a month and and earn $1,000 to take ourselves out to eat.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, I think don't McDonald's employees get free food anyway? We wouldn't even have to worry about that.
But it's not the destination; it's the journey.
It is the journey.
Oh boy! Literally, tears are running down my eyes. I'm glad the video isn't on my side. Is that fodder for clues, or is there a line between the images and the verses and the personal history and biography of the author?
I want to say that it's probably a fine line. Like, he probably has an interest in all of the cities that he buried his, these treasures in, these casks. But I really don't feel like there's any type of personal connection to him, to the paintings. I mean, the paintings were done by an artist. He just gave him, I want these clues in here, figure out how to do it. And really? Then he wrote the verse.
I already assumed he told him specifically, but it was more of just, so the artist actually transformed the description of the artwork?
I want to say, if as an author, this is how I would have done it, and this might actually be useful to the listeners that are hunting for things. If I was a writer and by no means an artist, which is exactly the case, I would hire an excellent painter that knew how to go into the details of things and say, I want this location, I want Charleston to be depicted in this painting. Figure out how to get people to Charleston. I will write the verse of how to get them to the exact location inside Charleston. If you want to incorporate some of those clues here and there, that is completely up to you. I would have left the painting completely up to the artist, but would want to have been involved with every single detail and every little clue that he was going to put in there.
Right. Well, and I have to admit, so far the 3 finds, there's never been any indication that, well, this makes sense because the author said this, or the painter is known to do this. They're all in the ground images, shapes, words that are there.
Like anything is possible, I guess.
Everybody's special. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, everybody's special.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yep, everybody does. They just don't get the diamond. So
that's what I was thinking in my brain. Except for I was thinking they just don't get the cast. And speaking of the cast, I really thought that they were like. I mean, they are like ancient pottery, weird, bulbous.
Yeah.
Shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's strange. So just so everybody knows, like Lane search location, Lane Charleston. I did that, and at no point did I find. I even. Well, I guess since it's Charleston, this did get me excited. I was afraid to go down it too far, but I actually did find a Lane's Brigade. From the conflicts in the 1860s.
Oh.
That I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, there's another rabbit hole. As you guys can hear from those snippets from my interview with Brian McFarland, we had a lot of fun. And the rest of the interview was just as fun, and we actually discovered a few things along the way just during our conversation, as we do with all of our conversations about Byron Preiss' The Secret. To hear the full interview with Brian McFarland, head over to buymeacoffee.com/Nicholas McGurr and drop $1 in the coffee pot. You don't need to drop any of your information to do so. I'll talk to you guys next week, and we will be discussing Julia Legree in Edisto Island. Stay tuned, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening to today's Story in the Cemetery. Be sure to check out the show notes with pictures and bonus audio sections on nicholasmcgurr.com. As you know, I'm a writer, and now you have another story that inspires me to write my fiction works. Be sure to share this episode on your social media or leave me comments on the Stories in the Cemetery Facebook page. I'll see you next time with another Story in the Cemetery.